You earned my respect, and I will tell you why, my child. 5 days ago, you did something that has gained my attention, and it has indirectly helped some people. Child, you know I am always watching over you, and you should not underestimate the weight of obedience in the smallest moments. You thought what you did was ordinary. You thought it was insignificant, even forgettable. But I tell you, my child, nothing done in obedience to me is ever small. Heaven recorded it. Angels took note of it. And the ripples of that one act traveled farther than your eyes could see. You were tempted to stay silent, tempted to delay, tempted to say someone else will do it. Yet you moved anyway, not because you were strong, but because you were willing. And willingness, when placed in my hands, becomes power. That is why you earned my respect, not because you are perfect, but because you responded when it would have been easier not to. Hear me clearly now. I am not impressed by noise. I am not moved by performance. I do not measure greatness the way the world measures it. I look at the heart that trembles at my word, the heart that obeys even when it does not fully understand. 5 days ago, when no crowd was watching and no applause was waiting, you chose truth over comfort. And that choice opened a door for others who were on the brink of giving up. There were people connected to your obedience who were tired, confused, and silently asking me if I was still near. They did not need a sermon. They needed a sign that I still speak, that I still care, that I still intervene. And without realizing it, you became that sign. Not because you are the source, but because you allowed yourself to be a vessel. My child, I need you to understand something deeply. I am raising you in discernment, not in impulse. That is why I often slow you down when you want to rush, and stir you when you want to remain still. I am teaching you how to move when I move and stop when I stop. Many desire my power, but few submit to my timing. You are learning this, and it pleases me. Do not be surprised if resistance increases after this moment. Respect in my kingdom often attracts opposition in the natural. When darkness realizes that light is willing to show up, it tries to intimidate, distract, or exhaust the bearer. But I say to you, do not fear. You are not exposed. You are covered. You are not walking alone. I walk ahead of you. I have been watching how you handle misunderstanding. I have seen how you kept quiet when you could have defended yourself. I have seen how you chose prayer over retaliation, reflection over reaction. These are not wasted battles. These are trainings. What I am preparing you for requires restraint as much as boldness. It requires silence as much as speech. You have asked me why the road has felt narrow lately. It is because I am refining your focus. I am removing unnecessary weight, unnecessary voices, unnecessary attachments. Not everything leaving your life is a loss. Some things are leaving because they cannot go where I am taking you. Trust me in this pruning. I cut with precision, never with cruelty. My child, there are moments ahead when you will be tempted to doubt whether obedience is worth it. In those moments, remember this: one obedient act can rescue someone you will never meet. One surrendered choice can interrupt a cycle that has lasted for generations. You do not always see the harvest immediately, but that does not mean the seed is not working beneath the surface. I am also calling you into greater responsibility. Respect brings assignment. Favor brings stewardship. What I am about to entrust to you will require humility to carry and courage to release. Guard your heart from pride and your mind from fear. Both can distort what I am about to do through you. You are entering a season where discernment will matter more than excitement. Not every open door is from me. Not every opportunity is an assignment. Learn to ask me before you move, and learn to wait for my peace, not just logical confirmation. I will never rush you into confusion. My voice brings clarity even when the path ahead is challenging. I know you sometimes feel unseen. I know you sometimes wonder if your efforts matter. Let me answer that now. I see you fully. I see the private prayers, the silent tears, the questions you never voice aloud. I am closer than you think, more involved than you realize. I am not distant, and I am not indifferent. There are people watching your life who will never read scripture, but they will read your obedience. They will read your patience. They will read how you respond under pressure. This is why integrity matters so much in this hour. The world is loud with opinions but starving for authenticity. Be what I have called you to be, even when it costs you comfort. Do not carry yesterday's failures into tomorrow's assignments. I have already dealt with what you have repented of. Stop revisiting what I have forgiven. When I correct you, it is to align you, not to condemn you. Shame does not come from me. Conviction draws you closer. Shame pushes you away. Learn to tell the difference. My child, I am sharpening your spiritual hearing. You will begin to sense when something is not right, even if you cannot explain it. Do not ignore that nudge. That is my spirit guiding you. At the same time, do not let suspicion replace love. Discernment must always walk with compassion, or it becomes judgment. I am also healing your understanding of trust. Some wounds came not because you trusted too much, but because others misused what you gave. I am restoring your ability to trust me without closing your heart to people. Wisdom will now guard what vulnerability once exposed. You will notice that conversations around you are changing. Interests will shift. Desires will realign. This is not you losing yourself. This is you becoming who you were always meant to be. Do not resist the change. Flow with me. I am not taking anything from you that you need. I am making room for what you cannot yet imagine. There will be moments ahead when obedience will again feel costly. When it does, remember that my rewards are not always immediate, but they are always complete. I do not pay wages the way the world does. I invest eternally. What you do in faith echoes beyond time. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn. Stop comparing your pace to others. I write different stories at different speeds. Your journey requires depth, and depth takes time. Listen carefully now. The days ahead will require calm hearts and steady minds. Fear will try to speak loudly through circumstances, through news, through opinions. Anchor yourself in my presence. Do not let external noise drown out internal truth. I am your refuge, not your escape. I am also reminding you to rest. Obedience does not mean exhaustion. Trust includes knowing when to pause. I did not create you to burn out. I created you to burn bright. Let me restore your strength. Let me quiet your thoughts. You do not have to carry everything at once. My child, you earned my respect because you listened when it mattered. Continue to listen. Continue to walk humbly. Continue to choose truth even when it is inconvenient. I am with you in this path, and what I am building through your obedience will outlast this season, this moment, even this lifetime. I need you to understand this clearly, my child, because the misunderstanding of this truth has caused many to stumble, to grow weary, and to retreat into fear when they were called to advance. I am not watching you the way the world watches. I am not standing over you with suspicion, waiting for you to fail, counting your mistakes, or looking for reasons to withdraw my hand. That idea did not come from me. That idea was planted to distort how you see me, because once your view of me is twisted, your obedience becomes strained and your love becomes fearful. I do not watch you as a judge looking for faults. I see you as a father who knows your frame, who understands your weakness, who remembers that you are dust yet calls you chosen. I see your intentions before your actions, your tears before your words, your battles before your breakthroughs. When you forget this, you hesitate. You pause when you should move. You doubt when you should act. You silence yourself when I am urging you to speak life. Many have stopped doing good not because they lack compassion, but because they believe they are being measured rather than guided. They think every step is under a microscope, every flaw magnified, every delay condemned. But I tell you now, my watching is not surveillance, it is presence. It is nearness. It is care. I am not behind you with accusation. I am beside you with counsel. When I say I see you, it is not a threat. It is an assurance. It means you are never unseen in your kindness, never unnoticed in your faithfulness, never forgotten in your sacrifice. Even when no one thanks you, Even when your efforts seem to vanish into silence, I see. And because I see, nothing done in love is ever wasted. This is why you must never hesitate to do good. Hesitation often comes from fear of being misunderstood, rejected, or unappreciated. But when you act from love, your audience is not people. It is me. I am the one who weighs the heart, not the outcome. I am the one who multiplies what you release, even when you think it was too small to matter. Understand this deeply. Goodness is not about visibility. It is about alignment. When you do good, you are aligning with my nature. You are agreeing with my heart. You are becoming a living expression of who I am in a world that has forgotten what love looks like. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every moment of restraint when anger wanted to speak, carries my signature when it is done in obedience. There are people around you who are watching not to criticize, but to find hope. They may never say it, but your willingness to do good gives them permission to believe again. When you motivate others, you are not lifting yourself above them. You are extending a hand so they can rise with you. Never underestimate the power of one obedient voice reminding another soul that light still exists. I know there are times when you wonder if motivating others is worth the resistance it brings. You speak truth, and some turn away. You encourage faith, and some mock. You choose integrity, and some misunderstand. But hear me, resistance does not mean you are wrong. Often it means you are effective. Darkness does not argue with darkness. It reacts to light. Do not shrink your obedience to avoid discomfort. Comfort was never the measure of calling. Love often requires courage, and courage often feels lonely before it feels fruitful. But I do not abandon those who step forward in faith. I walk with them. I strengthen them. I sustain them. You must also remember this. Good works are not about earning my favor. You already have my love. You already have my grace. You do good because you are loved, not to be loved. When this order is reversed, you grow tired. When it is correct, you grow strong. Many have burned out trying to impress me, forgetting that I am already pleased with a surrendered heart. I am not asking you to strive. I am asking you to respond. Respond to the nudge. Respond to the opportunity. Respond to the moment when you can choose kindness instead of indifference, courage instead of silence, faith instead of fear. When you motivate others, do not think you must have all the answers. Often your willingness to stand is enough. Your honesty about the journey matters more than a polished speech. People are not looking for perfection. They are looking for authenticity. Let them see what trust looks like in real time, not just in testimony after the victory. I want you to understand why forgetting who I am leads to hesitation. When people believe I am distant, they rely only on themselves. When they believe I am harsh, they hide. When they believe I am indifferent, they stop trying. But when they know I am near, patient, and faithful, obedience becomes a natural response, not a forced effort. I am not watching you to trap you. I am watching over you to protect you. I see dangers you cannot see, distractions you do not recognize, and opportunities you might overlook. Sometimes I redirect you, not because you failed, but because I know what lies ahead. Trust my corrections. They are evidence of my care. Good works done without love become heavy. Motivation given without humility becomes noise. But when love leads, even small actions carry weight. You do not need a platform to influence. You need obedience. You do not need approval to act. You need faith. There will be moments when doing good feels inconvenient. It interrupts your plans, your rest, your routine. But remember this, love is rarely scheduled. It often arrives disguised as interruption. When you pause long enough to respond, you become part of something greater than your own agenda. I see how you sometimes measure yourself against others and feel inadequate. You think your contribution is too small, your voice too quiet, your reach too limited. But I never asked you to be everyone. I asked you to be faithful. The seed you plant may grow in soil you never walk on again, but that does not diminish its purpose. Motivating others is not about pushing them. It is about reminding them who they are. Speak life. Speak truth, gently. Speak hope even when circumstances argue against it. Your words, when aligned with my spirit, carry power beyond what you understand. Do not let past disappointments silence your present obedience. Some people rejected your help. Some misunderstood your intentions. Some walked away despite your efforts. That does not cancel your calling. That refines it. Learn, but do not harden. Adjust, but do not withdraw. I am calling you to remember that I am not a distant observer, but an active participant in your journey. When you do good, I am there. When you encourage someone, I am there. When you choose integrity in secret, I am there. When you feel alone in obedience, I am there. This awareness changes everything. It removes fear. It dissolves hesitation. It turns ordinary moments into sacred opportunities. You stop asking, "Will this matter?" and start trusting that if I led you to it, I will work through it. There is a reason I urge you to keep your heart soft. A hardened heart stops responding. A soft heart remains teachable, movable, alive. Protect your tenderness. Do not let cynicism convince you that goodness is pointless. Cynicism is the language of disappointment, not truth. I am still transforming lives through simple obedience. I am still restoring hope through ordinary people who choose to act when others remain passive. I am still using encouragement to pull people back from the edge when despair whispered lies to them in the dark. You may not always see the result immediately. Some seeds take time. Some breakthroughs happen far from your sight. But trust this. Obedience echoes. Love multiplies. Faithfulness compounds. Never hesitate to do good because you fear it will not be enough. When placed in my hands, enough becomes abundance. Never hesitate to motivate others because you feel unqualified. I qualify those who are willing. Never forget that I am not watching to condemn, but to commune, to guide, to walk with you step by step. Remember my words.